Hi fam! Happy New Year to you all. I feel so happy and blessed to be part of this new year. What New Year really means to me is God giving me a fresh start to decision making and implementation. A new year brings with it new possibilities. It's the best time to set goals for yourself and just be a best version of yourself. So in this video, I just wanted to show you guys how I plan my year, and I also want to just show you some simple tips and tricks on how you can also do the same. My goals by setting a 5-year plan. A 5-year plan is a personal and business goal that you would want to achieve in the next 5 years. One of the best things that a 5-year plan can help you do is to create the life that you want to live. My yearly goals are derived from my 5-year plan. Every new year, I set goals or steps that I can take to make me move closer to my 5-year goal. Planning this way helps me set priorities on what to specifically focus on every year. Alright guys, so in terms of what I use for my planning, I use different systems. I use digital systems and the physical planners. I normally use a digital system called Trello. Then I use Google Calendar and I use my day-to-day planners. So now I'm going to show you how I plan my year based on my 5-year goals and the digital and physical planners that I use. So the first thing that I do is I really just get clear on how I would want my life to look like in the next 5 years. I do this by really searching my soul and getting clear on what categories of my life I would want to work on. For me, the categories of my life that I am very passionate of and I would really want to work on and I'm currently working on are my business, my family, my personal life, and my financial goals. So an example of my 5-year goal, my 5-year plan based on the 4 categories that I've mentioned would be, in terms of my business, where would I want my business to be in the next 5 years? Do I want to expand? Do I want more clients? Do I want to make more money in terms of maybe I want to start making 7 figures then? So it will mean between now and 5 years, based on the goals that I put up, how I would want my business to look like in the next 5 years, then I'll have to start taking steps every year to reach that goal. So it will mean my yearly goals will be bound to my 5-year vision. So an example of that in my business life would be if I want to get to a point where I'm making 7 figures every year or something like that, then between now and then I have to establish the steps I need to take to be able to be financially able to make the 7 figures. So it means in my yearly goal, I'll have to put something like maybe let's get more clients or let's add in another service, and then I'll start working towards that. In terms of my family goals, if we decide, look, we don't want to live in this current home in the next 5 years, probably maybe even less than 5 years, but that's the goal. When I'll be 5 years from now, where would I want to live with my family? We want to live in our dream house. How will our dream house look like? So between now and then, we'll have to engage an architect, create our dream house, and be very clear on the kind of lifestyle we want to live in our home. And between now and then, it means we have a building project. So my yearly goal now, what I would put in my yearly goal, one of the things I would add on to my goal for the year would be our building project, which and the next year, depending on what you do this year, probably maybe this year you've seen an architect, you've drawn, you've envisioned your home, you've put it on paper. Then the next year probably you start buying building materials. The other year you start building, and maybe you build for a year or two, but depending on your financial capabilities, you find that you build in the next two years. So it means 5 years from now you're actually really living in your dream home. Another thing that we normally do, I do my family goals with my husband. So one of the things that we do is we also are very clear on how we want our relationship to look like in the next 5 years, how we want our son to grow, the things that we want to expose him to, the life that we would want him to have. So in the next 5 years, so we start working towards it now. So if I say we decide, look, we want to have a very beautiful marriage in the next 5 years, not that we don't have now, but we still want to continue having a good marriage, a good friendship. So what do we do now is, let's have date nights, let's have vacations, let's spare some time away from family, away from our son, just to spend time together. So those little steps will still take us to the level that we want to be. Another thing would be the vacations that we want to take. Which countries do we want to go to? Which places in Zambia do we want to visit? So we get clear in the next 5 years which places. And of course, things do change. Sometimes you'd want to go to this place and then there's a new place that has opened and you change your mind, and that's okay. But it's always still good to have a plan in mind. And when you have a plan in mind, which countries do you want to, every year we say, where are we going? What have we planned? So would really just have that plan and put in steps on how we're going to make that work. Another thing that we also do is just having our own personal lives sorted out. He has his own personal life, I have my own personal life. So my personal goals are equally important. I believe for me to make my marriage work, for me to make my being a mom work, for me to be a good sister, a good daughter, I have to work on myself first as well. So I make it a point to also have personal goals every year. And I have also a 5-year vision of how I want my life to look like. Me that I would want to be in the next 5 years is different from the version of me that I am now. Because I'm all about personal development, honey. I'm all about growth. So that would look like me giving a time for myself, to do some self-care, to workout routine, having extra activities that I do for myself, going to the spa, honey, working on my mind. I like to read books, I invest in books, I do take courses. I have that personal development that I want to do for me. And when I do it for me, I will be a better version of myself. So everything that I've been talking about till this point has been pre-vision board. So the next step that I take after establishing my 5-year goal and turning them into my yearly goal is every year I create a vision board. I love vision boards because I am so visual. I'm so visual. A vision board for me is just a visual representation of the things that I would want to accomplish. And it's so good to have a vision board. It's a constant reminder or a daily reminder of what you aspire your life to look like, of what you want to do with your life that year. So I normally have a printed vision board that I put on the wall of our bedroom. So every day when I wake up, I look at it. And then I also have a digital vision board on my phone. So if I'm not home, I'm at work, I'm in the field, I'm somewhere else, and sometimes I take my phone everywhere. So I just take it and I'm able to check my vision board from there. So now I am going to talk about the systems that I use. I use more of a digital system. It's called Trello. I think I'll do a video one day on how you can use Trello. Trello is everything. So on Trello, that's where all my documents are really. My business documents, my business steps, my personal documents. If I say maybe my workout routine, the steps that I do, my morning routine, how I plan my meals, that's on personal, our family vacations, the places we'd want to go to, and all that jazz. So I just add everything on Trello. So the last step that I do when planning my year, after establishing my 5-year goals, turning them into yearly goals, and then adding them to my Trello and creating a vision board, is I use Google Calendar and my personal planners. I swear by Google Calendar, guys. If you're not using Google Calendar, you're missing out. So there's so many different things that I use my Google Calendar for. I add all birthdays on my Google Calendar. My husband's birthday, my son's birthday, my birthday, my parents, my siblings. This time I'm really adding also my extended family, my siblings' kids, my close friends, and it gives me a reminder a week before the birthday, so that if I'm sending a present or I'm taking someone for lunch, I prepare myself and I make sure I book some time off just to spend time with that person, or at least it's also a reminder to even just call someone and wish them happy birthday, send them a text or something like that. Or if I'm planning for every year, I'm big on birthdays. So it's also a reminder to just plan in advance. If for my husband and my son it's different, I plan months in advance. I know what I'm going to do for them, and it really just helps me not stress when their birthdays are coming up. And I know, okay, I planned this is what is going to happen, these are the steps, it's all in my calendar, it's done. So I plan birthdays. Same thing with anniversaries, important anniversaries our anniversary is important, and I have anniversaries for my siblings and people who are close to me. So at least having that put in my calendar, it just helps me, sets as a reminder. Then we also put travel. So we put travel in our calendar. Which places are we traveling to? Are we doing any vacations? Are we doing any vacations? We just it helps us plan the dates in advance, and also allocate finances towards that. We know, okay, look, we're traveling out in April, so how much do we need to spend? Sometimes, at least the economy changes, so sometimes you find that the flights are more expensive, or they're still within the budget. But at least once you plan that way, it's very helpful. You don't come back from a vacation and you're strained with money issues, because it was planned, it was there, honey. So it's something that really helps a lot. Google Calendar, I live by it, guys. I really do. Another thing that I add to my calendar is my client appointments, content creation. I know I've really started going into content creation. So this is actually a 2022 thing, going to be a 2022 thing, where I plan all my content, my YouTube videos, and whatever content I'm going to be putting out there. So all that is going to be in my calendar, and it just really helps me show up. So what a calendar does, what I like about using a calendar for your life is, no matter where you've planned it, you've written it down somewhere, you have it's in my Trello board and whatnot, but I have to add whatever I'm doing that day. I have to add it to my calendar, because the calendar sets the time. I block my time. So I know okay, it's a Monday, so between 10 and 12, this is the chore that I'm supposed to do, or this is the work that I'm supposed to do. I put it in my calendar. If it's in my calendar, I have to show up. I have to show up for that meeting. I have to show up to do that video. I have to show up to call that friend. I have to show up to wish someone a happy birthday. I have to show up. When you put it on your calendar, you have to show up. It just helps you get disciplined. So that's what I like about my calendar. So one thing that I want to do in 2022 also is add activities for my son. He is in school, and they normally have activities at school. There's always something that comes up, and sometimes life gets in the way where we get busy and I end up doing something at the last minute. Oh, there's Halloween. Oh, there's Independence. Oh, there's this activity that they need to do, and they need to have red costumes. So I've decided I need to add whatever activity, be it school, be it home, be it anything to do with my son. I'm going to add it in the calendar and put a reminder. That way, even when I'm busy with other things, I know a reminder comes, you need to do something for Jaden. And I just want to be on top of the game for my son. I want to be that mom. I want to be that man. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So I have these journals. I have the 2022 journal and a gratitude journal. So I'll start by talking about the gratitude journal that I'm going to be doing. I started doing this late 2021, and I want to continue doing it in 2022. I have a separate journal. My dog is barking, guys. Oh, I'm sorry about that. We need to talk about fluffy dogs and their barking. Oh yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I have a gratitude journal that I want to use. So a gratitude journal is really just a book that you use every day. Every day you write down what you're grateful for, maybe 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for. And I love this because it's a reminder of all the beautiful things that I have in my life. Life is sometimes the hard things take over our emotions, guys. And if you have a constant reminder of what you have, it really just sets your mood a certain way. I like to do this every morning, and it really just sets my mood for the day. God does so much for us. He really does. And sometimes we're blinded by the bad and not seeing the good that is really around us. So it really just gives me hope and comfort to know that even if I have certain storms in my life, there's so much more good than the storms. So I love having a gratitude journal. Every morning I just write down a few things that I'm grateful for, and it just really sets the mood for my day. So I also have a daily planner where I normally use this more for my appointments. As much as I add them to my Google Calendar, I also add a lot of work stuff. I write it down. I love writing down stuff. So I'm big on digital planning, but I also still write down stuff. There you have it, guys. These are the steps that I take to plan my entire. Thank you so much for watching my video. Hope this year brings you all the love, joy, peace, and all the blessings that you ever need. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.